Hello, everyone. Welcome to Developing Palates. I am Aaron Loomis, and with me, as always, is Jiunn Liu. How you doing, Jiunn?
Doing good.
So today we are talking about the Berger Argenti Entubar Double Corona. The cigar is 7.62 inches by 55 ring gauge. Comes out of the undisclosed factory in Nicaragua. Mexican San Andres is the wrapper. Binder is from Nicaragua, and the filler is from Dominican Republic and Nicaragua. The blender is also not disclosed in the cigar. Price point is $10.49, and the cigar was released in July of 2017. So, June, what was your pre-light experience like?
I rated a pre-light to be a good experience. So in terms of the look of the cigar, it was the wrapper itself was really nice, toothy, Maduro colored wrapper shade. Soft pressed cigar, like his predecessor, has a I call it a hanging nipple on the
Right.
foot. Uh, Anyways, I can't get over that. I even said it in my review like a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, let's not be children.
Grow up for a second, June. Let's go. All you gotta do is be grown up for 10 minutes. Come on.
Okay. Phase well pressed, seems tight. Head finish off with a thick triple cap. Smelling the wrapper, rich cedar. Smelling the nip. Dry wood, white pepper spice, cold draw, rich white pepper, cedar.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right. So, as you alluded to, there's so much going on with the looks of this cigar. It's super long. Has a nice soft box press to it. Quarter inch of a small cigar sticking out of the foot. Um, there's a lot to look at when you just first see the cigar. Um, you know, Interesting footband on it. Has a little hand pointing down to the little extra cigar popping out at the bottom, so it's interesting. Aroma from the wrapper was like a nice floral note. I didn't get much from the foot other than like a faint tobacco note. And pre-light draw reminded me of iced tea with no sweetener to it. So it was pretty interesting to me. So flavor-wise, take us through your experience.
First third, flavor centered around chocolate, a little bit of a spicy, raw, kind of a cedar, bacon spices, creamy bread. Retrohaling gave me a bigger pop of that spicy raw cedar and cream bread. Finish dominantly earthy with dry wood backbone. Strength and body to be medium. Moving on to the second third, it's more earth forward, giving me namely dry wood and baking spices. But that chocolate note and the cream bread that I like from the first third completely gone. So that was a bummer. In terms of the retro handling, still further accentuates the baking spices and dry wood. Finish stays the same with earthy dry wood. Strength of body still at the medium side. The last third, it mimics the second third pretty much every single way. I mean, dry wood, baking spices, retroing, deeper baking spice, dry wood. Finish tells the same earthy story of dry wood, strength of body in the medium size. So a lot of earthy tones on the cigar for me.
Yeah, cigar started out with a mix of creamy baking spices and woodiness. Half inch in, creamy baking spices mellowed a bit, which kind of evened it out with the wood and created a little nice mixture there. At an inch in, cream increases a little bit while the baking spice decreases a little bit. Wood note stays the same. Retrohale brought a creamy wood note as well. 2 inches in, Retrohale gained a nice toast note to it, and the cream remained there. As the third came to a close, the cream and the baking spices kind of even back out, and that were in line with the wood note. The strength in the third was slightly above medium. Getting in the second third, baking spice had moved to the background while the cream and the wood were up front. Quarter inch in, a little earthiness joined the profile. At an inch in, a slight wood bitterness joined that slightly creamy wood and earthiness. 2 inches in, wood gains a little char to go along with that bitterness, and the cream was still playing a good role in the profile. As the third was coming to a close, that cream remained up front. The wood lost some of its char, but kind of maintained that bitterness, and it was a little bit drying. And the strength had moved up to medium full. Getting in the final third, some coffee joined the profile, so it kind of tied in well with the cream. Half inch in, the bitterness began to increase while the creamy coffee and wood notes remained at the same level. At an inch in, that coffee was now hard to detect, while the profile was mainly creamy wood with a little bit of bitterness to it. Retrohale was also creamy wood with a slight bit of char, and that's kind of how the cigar finished out, and the strength in that final third remained at the medium full level. So construction-wise, what was your experience like?
It was really good construction. I rated the burn to be very good, one notch below our perfect score. So only downside, I had a little bit of an uneven burn that at times led to unburnt wrapper pieces. Other than that, I mean, burn was slow, temperature was cool, no touch ups, no relights, sturdy ash marks. So overall, great performance in that end. On the draw, I rated it to be perfect. So it was just absolutely zero issues with the draw.
Yeah, burn for me was slightly wavy, but it never needed any attention to it. It kept up with itself. Ash held on in 1 inch increments. In regards to the draw, just a little slightly tighter than I prefer, but it didn't cause any issues with the smoking experience. So overall, what were your thoughts on the cigar?
Um, I remember smoking the original Entubar. So this was probably like, gosh, um, 4 or 5 years ago, if I remember right.
Mhm.
But I remember buying it back in the day because I was so intrigued by the hanging nip.
Right.
So, um, yeah. So, you know, this new version in this size, and it's, I think that in this bigger format, I don't think the cigar works very well.
Hmm.
Tasting profile was average. It was just way too long of a smoke to kind of have the monotony of like earthiness pretty much the entire way through.
Right.
I think thinner ring gauge and a shorter length will really help. Because I mean, with most cigars, honestly, that are like double Corona, like Churchill kind of size, like you really gotta like keep the smoker like engaged the whole time, and it's hard to do that in general,
Hmm.
right? I think Cuba does it the best, but in general, it's just not a really good way of like showing showing the best of what that cigar could be. So
Right.
I guess to that extent, I like to try this in a ring gauge because then the ones that I smoked from back in the days, they were all like probably no bigger than like Corona Gorda sizes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I would agree with you in that. Cigar started with some nice flavors. Second, third kind of moved to an average woody profile along with some cream, and that's kind of how things remained. Construction was really good. Strength was medium plus most of the way, so it's people that like fuller strength kind of would enjoy this. Um, I was interested to see how this re-release would perform. I think it did okay. Um, like you're talking about, this was a commitment to smoke this Vitola in double Corona. I mean, to keep someone engaged, you got to present some good flavors that your palate's not going to get tired of, and it just didn't happen for this for me. So I would pair it the same things you said: smaller vitola, thinner ring gauge, be able to concentrate the flavors a little bit more. See how that would go, but I'm definitely up for giving it a go in a different vitola. I'm not going to just write the cigar off just because the double Corona didn't keep my attention for the whole time. So I think it'll be interesting. In regards to the scores, I give it a 5.85. You gave it a 6.00. How do you think that matches up with your experience?
matched up well. I said in terms of flavor profile, the initial third I liked it. It was good. The remaining 2/3 I thought it was average. Construction was overall really good. So yeah, I mean 6 is basically saying I didn't, given my average score for the year, kind of ranged around that 6.7 to like 6.9 range. The lower six, I didn't like it as much as most cigars I had this year. So, yeah, like 6 is definitely justified, right? Like it's like it's not good, like steady good, but it's just a notch below it is what a 6 is for me.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, I'm high five, so it's kind of it's a slightly above average cigar. I mean, we scored the flavor the same, good in the first third, average the rest of the way, and that's just what this cigar is in this Vitola. So I'd be interested in seeing if a smaller Vitola scores differently in regards to flavor wise. Any other final thoughts from you on this?
Um, no, just got to smoke a smaller one on this time. I think it'll be a lot better.
Yep, I'd agree. Well, if you're just catching this video on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to us, but also check out the full written review on the website, developingpalates.com. Be sure to follow us on all the social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Google+. And you can catch all of our review recaps on podcasts, so iTunes, Google Play, and Podbean. Thank you for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one.